Testing 1, 2, 3. What's going on, chat? What is going on? Last week, I dressed up as a clown because I'm a delusional Bears fan. I'm just a part of the circus. Today, I am dressed up as a trash can because that is what the Chicago Bears are right now. A big old pile of trash. That team is so bad, and that performance was so embarrassing Sunday. It makes me sick and very, very worried. The fact that we got 50 burgered against a divisional rival in week 2. In week 2, chat. It is just a disappointing start to the season. The season is over. 0-2 in the division. 0-2 to start the year. It is not looking good, bruv. It is not looking good. Jalen Johnson out indefinitely, probably for this season. TJ Edwards re-aggravated a hamstring injury. It's not looking good. And then we go in and we go play the Dallas Cowboys at home, who their defense is cheeks. Matt Eberflus, though, might have some things to use against Caleb, but that offense is good. That offense is humming. And CeeDee Lamb and Dak are going to have a day against us come Sunday. Yo, I appreciate that follow on the Red app, sir. Appreciate that follow, Betram. I gotta get us live on the tick to the top. What is going on, guys? What is going on? How are we doing? So today we have we're gonna talk about the Bears versus Lions. We're gonna talk about a lot of the problems the Chicago Bears have. And then we have a very special guest of the week. Very special guest of the week. Our boy Tyler Santiago from Santiago Sports. It's not a traditional Bears talk guest, chat. He's a Lions fan, so he can talk his shit. However, the better part of our day in our week till we get to week 3 is the fact that we get to talk a little bit about the hobby with our boy Tyler. So I'm super excited for that. We're gonna rip some wax. So let me just get a couple things situated here, chat. A couple things situated. What, yo? I appreciate that like, JJ Shy. I'm just about to get my TikTok situated here. Sorry, chat. Oh, double feedback. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? Quickly, let me get a couple things situated here, chat. All right, how we feeling? The hell you wearing, brother? Yo, Ryan. Yo, Ryan. Ryan asked, "What the hell am I wearing, chat?" It's a trash can, brother. It's a trash can. Because the Chicago Bears are fucking trash, brother. They are trash. And if they keep getting their teeth kicked in throughout the rest of the season, I got to find more costumes to come up with. I appreciate you, Ryan. I appreciate you. The Chicago Bears, I'm just representing my team. You see that jersey, chat? You see that jersey? That's Caleb Williams. That's been there since Monday night, since he lost us that game against the Vikings. I'm just representing my team. I'm a diehard Bears fan. You know what my team is? They're not the Chicago Bears. They're the Chicago fucking trash cans, chat. The Chicago fucking trash cans. So I'm just representing my squad accordingly. That's what they are. Complete trash, basura. They're ass. That's what they are. I might wear some ass cheeks next stream, chat. I might wear some ass cheeks. That's a fact. Appreciate the likes, Ryan. I appreciate you, brother. Clint says, my guys, let's go beat the Cowboys. Oh, my God, Clint. I can't even think about the Bears beating anybody right now, brother. Can't even think about it. Let me post something here, chat. How are we feeling today, chat? I appreciate you. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bears Lions. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the Bears loss also. Let me quickly post a couple things here. I gotta post that we're live chat on my IG story, right? Give me 2 seconds, chat. Bro, could still cover better than Tyreek Stevenson in a trade. That's a fact, brother. Yo, Clint, I should put a number 29 on this trash can because Tyreek Stevenson is garbage, brother. He is garbage. I guarantee you Helen Keller or Lizzo could guard somebody better than Tyreek Stevenson. That's a fact. And we're going to talk about Tyreek Stevenson today, actually, chat. We are going to talk about Tyreek Stevenson today, but that is a great point that you just stated, Clint, that Tyreek Stevenson is trash, and then I could probably cover someone better in this trash can outfit costume than Tyreek. That's a fact, brother. That's a fact. I think anyone could cover anyone better than Tyreek. Laughing helps the pain, Clint? Yeah, it does, man. It does. It's just how comical this freaking team is right now. Can you guys hear me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me post this quickly, chat. What else did you guys know? Your hotline number has been therapeutic. Hey, Clint. Yeah, you guys make sure you leave a voicemail, chat. I've been getting a lot of DMs. Chat, let me talk about the hotline real quick, all right? Let me clip this. Where am I? Chat, let me clip this. The Bear Down and Beyond hotline is for you to leave voicemails. Chat, I've been getting a lot of DMs saying it's broken. It's broken. No, you leave a voicemail, brother. I'm not your therapist. I'm not going to talk to you live and hear you bitch and complain about the Chicago Bears. I got to get myself personally through that. You know when they say get on the airplane, put your mask on first before you put somebody else and help somebody else? Yeah, I got to do that for myself personally and mentally. So you leave a voicemail or we blind react. That's the Bear Down and Beyond hotline. It's not the Bear Down and Beyond freaking therapist where I talk to you in live over here and I got to charge you $5 a month for that shit. It's not one of your monthly subscriptions where you're on the phone, you know, talking live with someone telling you what you want to hear. No. Bear Down and Beyond hotline. Leave a voicemail, 877-708-2327. Because you know why, Chicago? It's going to be a long season because the Bears are trash. They're trash. All right, what was I going to just do, chat? Yo, RIP Owen. Owen, I appreciate you tuning in the stream. If you guys haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit that follow button. Por favor. I'm just quickly. I got to promote this stream really quick in my IG stories, chat. Sorry. Give me a second. What else did we notice, chat? What else did we notice from that Bears and Lions game? I might need to invest in a new camera, chat. Might need to invest in a new camera. Maybe it's this one, chat. I've noticed the Bears lack any team. That's a fact, Polar. We're gonna actually talk about that a little bit too. I'm a Bears fan living in Michigan. Been a brutal week. Yo, is that Clint from Flint, Michigan? I think I remember your voicemails, brother. My son was mad as fuck. He's 16, such a fan, and they keep letting him down. Tell him to get used to it, Pilsen. Tell him to get used to it. It's gonna be a miserable time. I don't know why my freaking. Let me quickly chat promote this on my story. Give me a second. Give me a second here, chat. Gucci. Josiah said, "Go Pack, go yo, fuck the Packers." Josiah, I appreciate you tuning into the stream, my friend. Appreciate you tuning into the stream. How we doing, chat? How we doing? All right, we back. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Make sure that post. We gotta make sure that post, my friends. What's good with my camera, chat? I don't know what is good with my camera. Let me try to fix that here. This is kind of getting a little annoying. Ain't gonna cap, chat. Ain't gonna cap. All right. And then we're gonna talk about this Bears loss. So, chat, I am a little bit under the weather today. Woke up with a sore throat. Your boy is playing through the injury. Jordan flu game, bro. Jordan flu game. Chief saw Tiff. Yeah, that is painful. Are you a Bears fan or are you a Lions fan? That was brutal, chat. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. As soon as I take this Dayquil. Jordan flu game stream, chat. Jordan flu game stream. Bears diehard fan. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Or sister Tiffs. Is that Tiffs? Tiffs. Sorry to hear that, Tiffs. All right. All right, chat. Let's talk about. So, for you guys who are not familiar with today's stream schedule, we're going to talk about Bears versus Lions. Then we have a special guest, our boy Tyler Santiago from Santiago Sports. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bears versus the Lions. He's a Lions fan, but we're going to talk about the hobby. I need to get my mind off the Bears. So if you guys aren't familiar with the hobby, we're going to be talking sports cards in that market. It'll be plenty of fun. We're going to rip some packs at the end if we have time. And then I'll get into our week 3 Sam versus Chat GPT predictions. We'll do hotline, voicemail hotline, live reactions. And that's pretty much it for today. Talk a little bit about the Fantasy Football Invitational. But to start off the show, Polar says Williams is very inconsistent at QB. He'll make one good throw and follow it up with... Yeah, Polar. That's one of the things we're going to talk about is Caleb Williams. Didn't look as bad against the Lions, but still not helpful. So, chat, let's talk about the Bears losing to the Detroit Lions. I believe the score was 52-21. Did not look good one single bit, chat. Did not look good. The season is over. Hate to break it to you, Bears fans, but the season is over. Going 0-2 in the division with the talent that we have, the obstacles that we need to overcome, not only on injuries, but the fact that still a huge learning curve for this offense. Our quarterback, Ben Johnson, a lot of things that we thought maybe they could kind of maybe grow or kind of get through prior to the season started. Um, but that's gonna hold them back for sure. The players made business decisions. Chat. I noticed one thing. I haven't really seen effort like that since late in the Eberflus regime or even the Mark Trestman days, where those players on Sunday made business decisions in a week 2 game. I was not expecting our players to come out flat, not even showing zero effort. I'm not a football player, never played football, but I'm not going to say they quit, but I will say there was barely any effort or fight from that offense and that defense and that special teams. Even the coaching staff looked defeated. There was zero effort. We were not locked in. The first quarter looked fine, but after that first quarter, everything went downhill. Where are the leaders on this Chicago Bears team? Where are the dogs on this team? Caleb gets knocked down. I don't see anyone going to pick him up or anyone going to fight off the defensive line that did cheap shots against him. When Caleb's on the sideline smiling, I don't know why the fuck you're smiling when you're down 52-21. You saw Baker Mayfield on Monday Night Football. He was on the sideline. He just had a fumble and he was pissed. But he locked the fuck in. He locked the fuck in. And he went and got that dub, that game-winning drive. That's what I want to see from my players. They were down there 2 starting tackles, but they didn't make any excuses. They were still brawling that freaking Texans defensive line and had themselves a fucking day, chat. They had themselves a fucking day. But no, where's the leaders on our team? Where's the dogs on our team, chat? That's like the biggest thing. We had zero effort. We had a bunch of quit in that game heading into the freaking second quarter and beyond. After the first scripted plays, I don't know what the frick happened with that team. Couldn't convert 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. That was a bunch of bullshit. We can't get 1 fucking yard. You don't deserve to win that fucking game, in my opinion. Rudy says, how many games until we put Bajan? Chat. Rudy asks, how many games until we see Bajan? I say we'll see how the next 2 games go for the Bears, but if things are still going south for the Chicago Bears, I will probably predict that Tyson Bagent will be the starting quarterback come after the bye week. So after that Raiders game, I would just say that you might be seeing Tyson Bagent, the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears, if things continue to go south, chat. Caleb didn't look terrible against the Lions, not as bad as he looked against the Vikings. He wasn't the reason why we fully lost, but he wasn't the reason why we were freaking winning either, if that makes any sense. So we shall see, Rudy. We shall see about that one. On sideline painting his nails, yeah, he can't support his play. He wants to be all extra and shit, but he cannot support his play. What's up, Sam? My name is Sam T. Yo, what's good, Sam? I appreciate you tuning into the Red App stream. It was painful to watch their lack of effort, right, Polar? My league's picking teams. Who you got winning this week? My league's picking teams. What do you mean your league is picking teams? You playing Survivor there, FCR? We haven't even looked at the schedule. If you want to stay around for our week 3 predictions versus Chat GPT, I'll be looking at the calendar at that point. Trade Kraft for Devontae Adams or Bowers and Quentin Johnson for Neighbors? I have the tight ends. I wouldn't trade Kraft or Bowers and Quentin Johnson for Neighbors. I would keep Brock Bowers. He's a little banged up there, crooked, but I don't know. Maybe Kraft for Devontae, but how's Devontae been doing? I haven't been paying attention to the Rams, to be honest. Trade Bucky Irving for James Cook. Why would you trade that up straight up? I would keep Bucky Irving. James Cook gets his touchdown stolen by Josh Allen half the time. But that's just me. All right, let's talk about the Bears' offense. They had all training camp, all spring camp to get their shit together. The offensive line is not in sync. The amount of false starts, holding, they are not locked in, especially on that right side of the offensive line. Yeah, Braxton Jones didn't have the best day against Aiden Hutchinson and the Lions, but that right side I am more concerned about. Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright. Why are we not in sync? So many false starts. Our cadence with Caleb Williams is just not there, chat. It is just not there. We can barely run the ball. Hey, yeah, it looked a little bit better running the ball against the Lions, but at that point, the game was over and we couldn't run the ball anymore because we needed to throw the ball and then they had to take out their starters. But the fact that the offensive line is not in sync, Jonah Jackson is trash. Darnell Wright is looking like a bust of a pick. Drew Dahlman, I don't know if he got his plow through as he did against the Vikings in a couple of plays. But we can't run the ball. We're not in sync. Too many pre-snap penalties. I know we're on the road in a hostile environment in Detroit, but I'm also talking about when we're in Chicago for the Vikings game. Anyone else besides Rome playing receiver position? Because that's all we're going to is Rome. DJ Moore, I don't want to bring in the whole effort and quit thing and body language thing, but that seems to be a red flag going into this season again. Is he really that sad about Justin Fields still, chat? Is DJ Moore still that sad about Justin Fields? Is he still butthurt that his boy Fields is not on this team? I swear to God, he hates Caleb. I swear to God, DJ Moore, his body language is very concerning. We've had these discussions last week, even after that Arizona Cardinals game in the middle of the season. I don't know if he was still hurt from that Vikings game. I don't know why we're not giving him the ball more. I don't know if he's just not getting open. I don't study that all 22 chat. I don't got time for all that. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing on the TV, right? I know Ben Johnson has been on record over a couple of interviews talking about people not getting the rock if they're not blocking or people not putting an effort in practice. If this continues to go south, chat, I hate to break it to you, but DJ Moore might be on the trade market for the Chicago Bears. They might put him on the trade block if things continue to go south. I know he just signed a new contract extension, but Rome is becoming that wide receiver one. I'm just not seeing DJ's energy there, especially after Justin Fields left. DJ had his career year when Fields was the quarterback. Ever since Caleb's been throwing the ball, something just feels off there. It is weird, chat, with DJ Moore. I don't know. Put your thoughts in the comments about that. Maybe I'm overreacting for sure. But that's just what I'm seeing so far from DJ Moore. And this is dating back to last season, chat. This is dating back to last season. 4th and 1. How can we not convert 4th and 1, chat? And why are we going for it on 4th and 1 on our own 35-yard line? We'll talk about the coaching of Ben Johnson, but that was a little bit concerning. Loveland, it's only week 2. I'm not as concerned and panicking about Loveland and Luther Burden like other Bears fans and other Chicago Bears media. They're kind of both injured or a little bit both delayed throughout spring camp, rookie mini camp, and training camp. So I'm not stressed about that yet. But come the middle of the season, the end of the season, if he's not getting any targets, only a couple targets per game, and he's not a featured contributor on this offense come the middle of the season, that's a big concern. You used a 10th overall pick in the first round for Colston Loveland, and it was supposed to be a Ben Johnson draft pick, and we already have Cole Kmet eating up that salary cap a little bit, just gave him an extension. We used Colston Loveland with that 10th pick when we could have gone offensive line, pass rusher. So I'm not too concerned in week 2, but it's something we're noting. But I know there's a lot of people on Chicago Bears social media, Chicago Bears media that is concerned about that. We'll talk about Ryan Poles and his draft picks. But not overreacting about Luther Burden and Colston Loveland yet. But when you see Tyler Warren getting all those targets and all that time on the and all those targets and receptions and making that of an impact for his offense, that's what's a little bit concerning. But there's so many weapons on the Chicago Bears offense right now. Caleb Williams still trying to gel. The offense still trying to find their footing. I'm not concerned about that just yet, but it is a little annoying to use a 10th overall pick on a tight end that you don't even feature or get more than one target in the game. He had 2 targets against the Vikings. I don't think he had even 1 target against the Lions, chat. Put your thoughts in the comments about Colston Loveland. Are you hanging in there? I'm all over it, Pilsen. I'm all over it. I'm just looking forward to the next game. The season's over. So I'm just gonna vibe out fantasy sports betting. How about you? DJ Moore don't got love for Caleb. That's a fact, Johnny. That's an absolute fact. That is very true, my friend. That is very true. Let's talk about Caleb Williams, chat, against the Detroit Lions. Caleb Williams is not the number one reason why the Bears lost that game. It was the majority on the defense, but his play did not necessarily help either. The offense kept going 3 and out. three and out, couldn't stay on the field, couldn't get points on the board. At some point, our defense got tired, and then unfortunately, they got tired and gassed in this game sooner than we would have liked. During that Vikings game, they kept holding through. But this Lions game, they couldn't keep up. Jalen Johnson got hurt. TJ Edwards got hurt. That didn't help. Caleb Williams is not the reason why we lost the game per se, but he didn't help by any means of keeping it competitive. The interception was dumb as fuck, chat. When he just tossed it out when he's supposed to throw it away. Maybe missed a couple throws, but it looks like he played a little bit better. He wasn't as happy feet in the pocket as he was against the Vikings, which I like. Him and Rome, that's probably the bright side, is Rome Odunze, and that connection with Caleb Williams seems to be playing okay. But he didn't help us put us in a position to win that game or put the team on his back, especially when that defense was struggling. But he wasn't the reason why we lost the game. That jersey still stays in the fucking corner, though, until he proves us otherwise. But we need to see more from him. He needs to take over this team, especially with the injuries on this defense. Him and Ben Johnson just don't seem to. I don't know if Caleb's the right fit for Ben, chat. I don't know if Caleb is the right fit for Ben Johnson. It seems like they're not in there. It seems like Caleb's not locked in. I want my quarterback to be like Baker Mayfield on that sidelines when he fumbles, throws an interception, losing, and just locks the fuck in instead of smiling like a freaking clown that Caleb Williams is. Because when you got Baker locked in, talking shit on the field, he didn't pretend that he hurt his knee, then gets right up because CJ Gardner-Johnson is talking trash. That's the freaking dog I want at quarterback position. Shoot, I want that in all my freaking players on the Bears. But Caleb is just, I don't know, he's not locked in. I heard one ESPN, I think it was on ESPN 1000 Chicago, one of the guys was like, Caleb loves being a football player. He doesn't love playing football. And the more I hear that, the more I kind of think about it, I think he likes the lights, camera, action. But I don't know if he's locked into the game. A lot of those reports from the Tyler Dunn article with the Matt Eberflus regime, we don't know if it's true yet, but I don't know. He might love being a football player, but doesn't love football. I just don't see him locked in. It's weird. Maybe it's the offense. Maybe it's him learning still with Ben Johnson, but there's something about Caleb Williams right now, Chad, that I am not vibing with right now, and I don't think he's out of 2 games in this Ben Johnson offense. It's not there, like results wise, and just like body language wise, and like energy, mentality wise. I don't know, something is off there, Chad, and I'm just not sold on it. I'm sorry. Might be time to be looking at the quarterback draft prospects in this upcoming year's draft, Chat. What do you think about Nico Collins' performance these past 2 weeks, Sim? I don't know. He hasn't been playing. He hasn't been balling out too much, bro. He got a touchdown yesterday, right? Maybe Williams is too immature to be a starting quarterback. It takes a strong character to lead a team. Could explain why he's smiling when they were getting their ass. Yeah, bro. Big pull. I want Baker's energy. I want that type of mentality and dog in my QB. 4-win team, no lane. If we're lucky. If we're lucky, we'll see what happens against the Cowboys. I don't know. I'm not going to fall into the trap of believing the Bears can win that game. Caleb is not a Ben Johnson quarterback. Bajent will be. Could be more golf. Yeah, Johnny. I don't know. I don't know if it's. And we'll see. We shall see, chat. We shall see. I'm going to take a little break from us talking about. We should have Tyler coming in here soon, but chat. I appreciate that light, Johnny. Let me share something with you here quickly, chat. Chat. I saw this and I couldn't unsee it. Caleb Williams, after his 15 scripted plays to start the game. And it's a Mitchell Trubisky photo. Dude, it's so true. I don't know what happens after Caleb Williams' 15 scripted plays. Like, if he's not studying the film, if he's just not developed enough to go off script, but he looks amazing after during those scripted plays. Looks like freaking Tom Brady, 10 for 10 touchdown drives when he first gets the ball. But after that, it kind of looks like he's confused, he's lost, he's not going through his progressions. I don't know what it is, if that's can be fixed, if that is the issue. But that's how it is. Caleb Williams says after his 15 scripted plays to start the game, Mitch Trubisky chat. It's scary. It's sad. I'm a little bit to very concerned about Caleb Williams right now. He's still learning Ben Johnson's offense. I'm not going to fully panic on that process, but with the Vikings game, when you're missing wide open players, that's the concerning part. I'm not trying to shit on Caleb for the whole he still needs to learn Ben Johnson's offense. What pisses me off is his accuracy and overthrows. And we've seen that a little bit last year, but specifically that Vikings game, the stupid interception he had against the Lions on that fourth down, or is it a third down? You can't do that, chat. You can't do that. But him after the scripted plays, if you guys notice that, put your thoughts in the comments. After Caleb Williams scripted plays, he just turns. He doesn't even know what he's doing. I don't think he has any idea what he's doing. He's lost, but I'm a little bit seriously concerned about that. That we're waiting for Tyler to come on here. I'm not going to jump into too much other stuff here. We'll talk about the offense, and we'll talk about the defense and the coaching staff and Ryan Poles after we chat with Tyler. He should be joining us any minute now. I know he was doing some things at the shop. Let me check my phone. Peter said, I'm still upset about week 2. We got to look forward to the next week, Kittery. No reason to be upset over spilt milk. It happened. We got our ass beat. It is what it is, my guy or gal. We got a possible team that we could beat in the Cowboys. It won't be easy. Their offense is good, but if we can go 1-2, if we can beat the Raiders, go 2-2. Faith is a little bit restored, but the fact that the 2 games he lost is in the division is a tough pill to swallow. But let's focus on the Cowboys. We're going to talk about the loss a little bit, but in the meantime, we got a guest of the week coming up here shortly. And I'm waiting to see who popped in here shortly. Hopefully we can get the W and beat Dallas. Yeah, that would be nice. That would make us feel better, but our defense is kind of cooked this year. We don't have Jalen Johnson, TJ Edwards. Our defense was questionable even with those 2 starters. So we shall see. Kyler Gordon is out. We shall see. Oh, I thought it said 3:32. My eyes are blind, chat. We could have talked a little bit. All right, it's all right. So when we after we wrap up with Tyler, chat, this will be the agenda. We'll talk about the defense, the coaching, and Ryan Poles from the Lions game. And then we'll do our voicemail hotline reactions. We'll do Sam versus AI. I think ChatGPT cooked me this week in predictions this past week, but we'll look at that. And then we'll probably wrap it up there. But Tyler, we're going to be talking about stuff from about the hobby, which will be fun. He's a Lions fan, so we're going to give him a chance to talk his shit. It'll be a good time, chat. It'll be a good vibe, good chat. Anyone here collect sports cards, rip sports cards, and into any of that chat? Williams needs to focus less on his earrings and nail polish and more on the actual memorizing the playbook. Yeah, Polar. Not as literally as you're saying, but like, yeah, he needs to lock in more. I don't know, like, and I can't say that he's not, but just from the results and the body language and what we're kind of seeing that offense struggle with, like, I don't know if he's as locked in, chat. I don't know if he's locked in. Damn, this trash can's getting hot. Um, anyone else have fantasy questions, chat? Oh, chat, we're gonna rip some. We're gonna hopefully have some time to rip some wax with Tyler. We have to chase that downtown. Maybe he'll bring his luck. Um, just reading some of my notes here. Just reading some notes. I just don't want to get started in the middle of something and then have to reset. I want to make sure I get him on here. I know I've said it a few times, but his performance now is why I'm concerned about him not throwing at the combine. Yeah, usually those first round picks don't do that kind of stuff though. But I don't know. Yeah, you could be onto something for sure. You definitely could be. I gotta take a leak, chat. I know if I step out to go take a leak real quick, he's gonna be sitting in the lobby waiting for us. Chat, I know if I go step out, I just feel he was hiding something in his mechanics. Yeah, I mean everyone kind of knew he didn't have the best mechanics, right, Polar? Like he's always off script, throwing, making superhero Superman plays, right? But yeah, something doesn't feel right with what's going on right now in his development. But let's just see. I mean, even if he plays well against the Cowboys, I want to see progress and stuff. But that defense is almost as bad as our defense. Um, but I'm sure Matt Eberflus knows some of his weaknesses. I'm sure Matt Eberflus has something up his sleeve for Caleb, which also doesn't make me too feel confident on what's going on there. I could have gone and take a leak already, chat. Let me go really quick, chat. Yo, Tyler, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me, Tyler? Yo, yo. Can you hear me, Tyler? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tyler? Can you hear me, Tyler? Testing. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Testing one, two, three.
I
Hello?
cannot hear anything.
No, you can't.
Shit.
No way. Can you hear me now?
Now I hear you.
Oh, let's go. Sorry about that. One man band here. I need an intern.
I hear you're good.
All right, let's see. We can. Let me make sure everyone can hear you. Testing one, two, three. Say something.
What up? Hello, hello. Good.
One time, Tyler.
What up? Go Lions.
Make sure that one gets edited out. All right, sorry about that. It was an awkward transition when I gotta get started there. Well, I appreciate you being a part of the stream today and our guest of the week, Tyler. I know I invited you. I talked a little shit. I got a little too confident with the whole bell to ass, and your squad got the W. So I'll let you have your bragging rights here to kick off the show with the Lions. Just taking it down on the Bears, 52 to 21. Hence why I'm wearing a trash can costume because we are ass. We are trash. So um, appreciate you tuning into the stream. So what I want to talk about a little bit is the Lions versus the Bears. Talk a little bit about your Lions, and then talk about the hobby because I am in the hobby also. You're a big contributor to the hobby. I've been paying attention to your content for a while now, and I've always wanted to get you on here eventually to talk hobby and that fun stuff. So that's just kind of on the agenda. And if we had time, a little optic blaster to rip, see if you bring some luck into our chasing a downtown challenge. So, how you feeling about the Lions? Week one, got a little
Not
whipping from the Packers. Then you guys got to reset against the Bears. You're 1-1. How you feeling? The Bears weren't really a real team to kind of feel how good of a team you guys are. We're just a punching bag for anyone to reset. But
I mean,
how you feeling about your
definitely,
Lions?
definitely was a good. Here, one second. Here, James. I need you to post a story, so I'm gonna post that, and then I have them comp those.
Okay.
All right, my bad. It's the cart.
Left to right.
Yeah, starting top case. You'll see. Yeah, you'll see. All right. So, the Bears are still the Bears, obviously, and I think you should definitely post what you were saying to me for
Yeah, I will.
sure.
I'll
Gotta
edit
send
it
him the
in there.
screenshots.
I will for sure.
I think it was the perfect team to play after that because I don't think anybody knew what the Bears were. Obviously, they choked week 1 too. That was pretty rough. Obviously, you could tell Ben Johnson is a rookie coach. There's no doubt about it. He doesn't look like he belongs yet. I think it's going to take a little bit. He's messed up a couple of plays, not taking the timeouts, not challenging a couple things. Even in the Lions game, there was one. I watched both games the Bears played so far. Not so much into in the first one, but the second one, I dissected everything. Um, I think the Lions looked like absolute shit week 1, but I don't think you could have expected them to look great. The whole O line didn't play together at all in the preseason, so week 1 was a preseason game essentially. Going up against, I think everybody knew the Packers defense was going to be good, but not as good as they have been against two of the better offenses from last year. Uh, I don't know, man. Like I like where they're at because how do you go up from putting up 6 points on the board offensively to 52 the next week? That's still like I look at the Bears defense and I don't think they're bad. I think the Bears have a decent defense. They always have a decent defense over the year. They at least have some playmakers. I'll put it that way. Um, but I loved it. I had no doubt the Lions were going to beat them. It was just a matter of getting everyone going, and that was the perfect game to get the offense going and everything. And now you have a real test week 3 against the Ravens. So I'm happy with where they're at, especially because everything that they talked about improving from week 1, they improved in week 2. So how can you not be happy?
Yeah, you hit a couple things there that I'm still kind of thinking about. The whole Ben Johnson is still a rookie head coach thing. That Vikings game, he had a questionable calls with the going for on fourth down in that first quarter when he could have got 3 points. The whole Cairo Santos
Yep.
situation, and then I feel like he does have a little bit of an ego, and you guys seen that in Detroit. I think that comes from himself, but also in his aggressiveness, but also the Dan Campbell kind of culture setting, going for it, on fourth downs and setting the tone early and stuff like that. So even when he went for it, we were on our own 35-yard line against you guys, and he went for a fourth down. We couldn't even get 4th and 1. We actually did twice, third
Yeah,
and one, and
tough
fourth.
twice.
Yeah, so it's like um, there's still some learning curves there, and I have trust in him. I think the way he approaches the media, like his mentality is a lot better than Eberflus. I'm a little concerned with how our defense and some players made some business decisions yesterday, or I should say Sunday, and that's only week 2. We've seen that in the Eberflus regime later on when everyone was easing off, and then also with the Tressman era. But you guys got it. Perfect team to have a reset and get some practice reps in is the Bears, because we're always a laughing stock, and you guys want to get better. Any team wants to get better. They can always play the Bears. We had a couple of injuries on defense, but that doesn't help or excuse a 50 burger on us. So, what were your expectations for the Lions going into the season? Because my perspective is like, all right, they lose Aaron Glenn, they lose Ben Johnson, they lost Frank Ragnow, and another couple of key offensive linemen that you would know better than me. But like, what were your expectations going into the season, and how is that kind of shaping out? Now the test will be the Ravens, and you had a test with the Packers, but how are you kind of feeling going into the season, and what you've kind of seen now?
1 second, one more time. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Start with those. Yep. Put the case in the middle, and then those.
Okay, cool. I just
All right.
wanted to share.
Yeah, you're good. My expectations going into the season. That's what you were
Yeah,
getting at.
just the loss of Ben Johnson, loss of Aaron Glenn, a couple key offensive linemen, right? So defensive.
I don't really think Aaron Glenn was much of a loss. Maybe a culture loss, but not really like a defensive loss. He did what he could with. I mean, we had 18 defensive players on IR going into the playoffs, which is insane. We were down to, I think, 3 starters. So I mean, I saw some of the interviews after the season. Jack Campbell was like, I think the last few weeks of the season, he goes, "I'm looking to my right. I got a guy on the field I literally just met 2 days ago. Like, how are you supposed to win with that?" And they won 15-2 with a depleted defense was pretty incredible. But going into this year, I looked at it like 12 or 13 wins. I think 12-5 is a lock. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year again because 2 new coordinators, and I think they're going to get used to it quick. Because Sean Morton was only gone for a year, so he was with Detroit the two prior years before last season. So I think that helps a lot, especially because he's already familiar with the offense and a lot of the weapons. So that was cool. Kelvin Shepard, again, he's been with Detroit for the last 4 or 5 years. Former player, I didn't really see any drop off from that either. And I think he's a little more personable than Aaron Glenn. I think a lot of people see his interviews with the Jets and he just kind of looks like a dickhead. I don't think he's a bad dude. I think it's just the way he is, but he could definitely go about things a little better. I respect it, but I feel like he could lay off a little bit. So I'm looking at 12-5, 13-4 this year. I think they're going to be very good again. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the best running back in football. Obviously, a slow start week 1, but I mean, he's just so good. He is what we thought DeAndre Swift was going to be.
Yeah.
But DeAndre Swift just cannot find the open hole. It is still brutal. I'm watching him. I'm watching him this week. I'm like, this dude just does not know how to fucking go in the open gap at all. It's pretty bad.
You're preaching to the choir here about DeAndre Swift. I know we didn't have the best O line last year, and then this year we have the left side is not as bad as the right side, but yeah, he literally can trip up with a clothesline. It's really bad. He 2 yards when someone touches his cleat and he falls over.
Yeah.
Even get, and then we have a bad running back room to get. We don't have anywhere else to go with a running back room. It's him or
I like Kyle Managa. I went to Rutgers and he was really good. I thought it was cool week 1 seeing him be an RB2. I didn't expect that. I mean, I don't think any Bears fans expected that either.
No, Roshan has concussion injuries. We're kind of all gone with Roshan, to be honest. He was a 1 yard carry for us in the end on the goal line if we ever got there. But other than that, a lot of Bears fans were excited about Manungai too.
He fell. I thought he was going to be like a 4th-round pick, 3rd or 4th-round pick. Honestly, it was a deep draft for running back.
Yeah, 100%. I know how much you love Gibbs because a lot of your videos I see, when people talking about comping Bijan and Gibbs, and if it's like a 1-of-1 or something, and you got your boy Gibbs there that you're high on. Bijan did look good though. I mean, he did look good against the Vikings.
He definitely does look good. I think Bijan is the Falcons are like an early season team, so we'll see how they fall apart this year.
In terms of the NFL as a whole, like any storylines that have stood out to you over the first 2 weeks, surprises, disappointments that you've kind of keeping your eye on if you're locking in on the NFL, any other teams besides the Lions?
I still think the Chiefs are a really good team. I don't think you can count them out, even 0-2. They're still going to make the playoffs. I don't have any doubt about that. I grew up hating the Giants, and just because of their fans. When the Giants are good, their fans are even worse than Philly. I don't. You don't understand that unless you're from New Jersey or New York area, and you're not a fan of the Giants. But I will say I'm comparing them to the Eagles fans because I think the Eagles are a little too big. Egotistically, I do not think they are as good as they were last year, but nobody's proven that they can beat them. Their offense is so simple. It's how are you going to stop? They don't care if they have a fucking 20-yard or 20-play drive. They don't care. They'll take 10 minutes off the clock and run 20 plays. Give it to Saquon 5 yards. Let's do. I mean, how many completions did Hurts have this week? For what did he have? Like 110 yards, 21 completions. I mean, that's pathetic to me.
Yeah.
They're winning though, so you can't really hate on that. Like the way they're winning is just by getting by, and by moving the ball as much as they can, but also as little as they can. I don't even know how to say that. It's just kind of frustrating seeing them be so good and winning and just controlling the game, and they're not that good. They're just doing everything and they're executing. That's how simple it is.
Yeah.
It's a simple game plan.
They're running a 2000 offense in 2024, but it's working because they have the players in the trenches, the offensive line and defensive line, and those are super important. So they can have.
I don't know how long AJ Brown lasts there. He's got to be pissed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they have Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on the outside, but they don't even really need them or need to utilize them at all. And AJ Brown, he wants his rock. So
good for them though.
But yeah. That is that. Before we get into the hobby and stuff, I want to know a little fun. I usually do NFL Bears trivia, but we'll kind of turn it into a little bit of Lions stuff. What is your Mount Rushmore of Detroit Lions?
Barry, Megatron. Can't have a Mount Rushmore without them. I would go with after that. It's I would say it's kind of tough. But you can go with some of the '50s guys, but I could really care less about a lot of them. Like you could go Dick Night Train Lane or Bobby Lane. Doak Walker, Jack Christensen, but I personally, I don't really care about that. Bobby Lane, you could say is up there, but I would have to put Stafford. Stafford's the best quarterback in Lions history. Man, I guess you got to go with one on defense just to do it. Robert Porcher just got inducted into the Lions Ring of Honor or whatever the hell they call it. I would have to go probably Robert Porcher defensively. Sue would be another good choice, but I'd go Porcher. And I love Corey Schlesinger, but probably go Porcher.
Yeah, I was doing the exercise in my head when I had this question written down, and I was like, all right, I would have Megatron, I would have Barry Sanders, obviously, and I would throw in Stafford. But the fourth one, I was trying to think with the fourth. I forgot about Sue because he was miserable, growing up for me as a Bears fan.
Hmm.
On that defensive line. And I know you're a WWE guy, right? Because I've seen a lot of your videos with wrestling, and you're always repping the shirts and buying some of the cards for WWE. Mount Rushmore of WWE superstars.
This is another tough one. Gotta go Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, and then like I guess John Cena. Like there's like a solid 10 to 15 guys that you could
Yeah,
take in and out. But I mean, to me, you just past, present, future, like that covers the last 30, 35 years of wrestling. So I would have to go with that.
yeah. I was a huge WWE kid back in my day. I'd have to put all the ones you mentioned are interchangeable, but one for me is Eddie Guerrero. I was a huge Eddie Guerrero.
I'm actually wearing his shirt right now.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I saw because you have the strap. I was
Yeah,
trying to see what shirt. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero, Viva la
it's
Raza.
Eddie.
Yeah, he's one of my goats for sure. Are you going to any Lions games this year?
I was potentially going to go Monday to Baltimore because that's one of the closest ones they have. They also play Washington. I'm not going to go Monday. I think it's kind of tough. I'd rather just watch the game at home. I saw them play in Baltimore 2 years ago and they got destroyed. That was awful. I want to try and get to a home game. The Lions have the most expensive tickets in football, though.
Really?
So it's like it's to get a decent seat. It's like 800-900 no matter what.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. But I maybe go to the Washington game or if they play one other game that's not too far. So I'll see. I definitely want to get to a game or two.
I know the NFC North plays the NFC East. I don't know if they play the Giants in New
Nah,
York. No.
where we play them home and the Eagles. Oh no, the Eagles. That's the game I'm gonna go to. So I think it's November 20 or October 23rd. That one I'm gonna go to.
Yeah, so me and my father, we have a bucket list to watch a Bears game in every stadium. We got about 7 out of 30 right now. And I'm actually in Syracuse, New York. I'm in upstate New York. I'm not
Oh, okay.
in Illinois. My dad was born and raised in the south side of Chicago, but I'm from upstate New York. So we were
Ooh.
thinking Cincinnati, or I was thinking Philly, but I don't know. He might be scared by those Philly fans. They can get pretty ratchet and
I
crazy.
went to a Lions Eagles game in 2019. Again, they weren't even that good then, but definitely interesting. So I'll be ready for it. I don't really care.
In terms of, I want to talk a little bit about the hobby. I'll kind of share a little bit of background on how I'm involved into the hobby, but I didn't even get to do a formal introduction of kind of your background. So if you want to kind of tell a little bit of the audience about yourself, who you are, your shop, I would love to clip that and post it across all my channels for some exposure for you and your shop. Not that you need it, but I like to support any way I can. So if you want to do a quick intro on yourself and the shop, and then I'll get into the conversation
All right. Well, I'm Tyler Santiago. I own Santiago Sports. We are a card shop and breaker operation in Matawan, New Jersey. We're central New Jersey for those of you that aren't familiar, like start of the Jersey Shore kind of. We're 45 minutes from New York City, about an hour from Philly, just to give you guys some geography. Uh, Buy, sell, and trade sports cards on literally every platform you could think of, TikTok, Instagram. I obviously make content, so we post YouTube videos, reels, shorts on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Instagram's where we do all of our breaks, group breaks, personals, hit drafts, mystery packs, all that good stuff. And I am a Detroit sports fan. I'm born and raised in New Jersey, but picked pain and misery from a young age. So go with all Detroit. So here we are today in our brand new 6,000 square foot shop. And this is what I love, man. I went to Rutgers and I always knew I was going to open a card shop. I didn't think I'd open one until I was like 25 or 26. I'm 27 right now. So got to that a little earlier. We opened in 2020. We just celebrated 5 years, actually, this past weekend. Thank you. So 5 years. I opened when I was 22, 27, and I guess doing pretty good.
Oh yeah, you're doing awesome. You're killing it on content as well. I've been paying close attention. I'll kind of talk about how I got into the hobby a little bit. So if I ask any questions and sound like a noob or a beginner, there's reasons why. So my goal is to kind of monetize off the Bear Down and Beyond page. That's kind of my goal. As you know, how intense content editing and the discipline it is to have success in with content, you need to be committed. So I sold my
Yep.
cleaning company. I pretty much laid off my digital marketing services I had. I had like small businesses I was doing digital marketing services for. And a buddy from high school who's been selling flipping cards for years, ever since he graduated from high school. And I just somehow the content got on my algorithm, found it super interesting. So I liquidated pretty much all my businesses and stuff like that, and used the content or use the hobby to put food on my table, like so I can continue chasing that content dream with Bear Down and Beyond. And I'm not trying to become Mr. Beast or anyone like that, but I would love to make a fair living, talking bear, something that I love to do. So I just started doing that in February. I've been heavy into it, moving a lot of, for someone that's only been in it for 7 months, have learned a lot quick, and have been just getting involved very heavy in the hobby. And I love it too. I actually really enjoy it. I was into cards as a kid, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sports, but nothing to the extent where you have a PSA 10 $3,000 card in your hand. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So at some point, I want to be able to appreciate the hobby more and not be so stressed about it being my main source of income. But long story short, that's how I got into the hobby. I like to research and follow different individuals. When I first got into it, I started a sub channel called Bear Down Collects. But that's how I got into the hobby. So that's kind of want to give you a little background
Dope.
context and where I'm at and why it's involved in my my Dumb Bears podcast and stuff like that. But the goal is to monetize off both. But I use it to put food on the table for the time being. But
It's awesome.
kind of like one of my goals right now. But I love it. I love watching the content. I love watching you and other creators in the space that do a really good job in what you guys do. You probably already know who I'm talking about, but how are you feeling about the current state of the hobby right now? Just from my initial learning, I know a lot has changed since 2020. A lot has grown since 2020, for better or for worse, with different outlets. But how are you feeling with the current state of the hobby right now?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty good. I think things usually slow down. So having a store for 5 years now, this is the obviously I opened in September of 2020, but so this is my fourth year essentially going into a school year, and seeing how it goes from summer to school to fall, and the seasons are changing and kids are back to school, so it slows down. I think money in the hobby and the business slows down a bit in September, picks up towards October and the holidays. But I think we are in a good state. I think there's a lot of product that comes out, and I think people just can't afford some of it right now. So people really like to get into the repacks and stuff, which is why we started to make them again. Um, in general, I think there's ways for, I feel like one thing about the state of the hobby that kind of irks me is people just love to fucking complain. Like people will complain about everything. And again, you have a podcast, so most of your job is to sit there and basically complain about the fucking Bears sucking. You know what I mean? Like that's part of it. But rightfully so. Like that's like a hobby. Like that's what you do. It's a podcast to talk about that stuff. But I think people are very negative in the hobby, and I don't think that helps at all. It's like, oh, I remember when boxes used to be $100, and I used to be able to afford them. Or you remember getting into breaks, or the breakers are pulling all the good cards. Like, it's just an endless list of things that people want to complain about and don't want to sit there and figure out a way to be better or make it work for them. They just rather complain, sit there, do nothing. All right, maybe instead of buying a $400 box that was, when it came out in 2015, was like 150, if you're looking for a specific player or team, go buy that specific card. Go buy that team in a group break. In a group break. Um, I feel like that's one big problem with the state of the hobby is people will just complain, and not figure out a way to get what they want or move or be better.
No,
So that kind of
I get what you're saying there. Rather than kind of adjust to what the current market is doing, they're just going to sit there and complain. And I feel like they might have that same mentality with anything, like
yeah,
in life. Like everything is changing in our life, whether it's the economies,
yep.
the hobby, whatever it is. You're going to sit there and complain about it or adjust
Life goes on. I
accordingly.
don't
Yeah.
know what to tell people. Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings if you want to buy into my break or buy a card or you think you can find it cheaper somewhere else. Like, if that's how you feel free to go get it. Feel free to do your thing, and go about life or go about the hobby the way that you want. Like it works out for some people, it doesn't for others. Some people don't care if it works out. Some people do, and they just want to complain. So, oh man, it grinds my gears.
So, how do you see the hobby changing in the next 3 to 5 years? I got a specific question about brakes and stuff. I know that's probably a direction it might be going just from what I'm initially learning. But in the next 3 to 5 years, how do you see the hobby changing, especially with the license change from Panini to Fanatics? I know they have some goals and directions that they're going with that, with more experiential kind of stuff with athletes and stuff. But how do you see the hobby changing in the next couple of years here?
So I think Fanatics has a lot to do with that, and um, I think it's going to be both good and bad. Like there's going to be pros and cons of everything that happens, but Fanatics is getting the license to NBA next month, literally next month. They're getting the NFL license in March or May of 26. So Panini's on the tail end of everything. I think that sucks for the hobby. I really do like Fanatics and what they're doing, but in terms of like actually enjoying the hobby, I don't like that there's going to be no Topps basketball cards and no Panini basketball cards. So unlicensed, both of them should be licensed. And from what I know and what I hear about, I don't know if you know, there's an ongoing lawsuit. Like this has been going on for almost 2 years between Panini and Topps. And from what I'm hearing inside, the industry is that Panini is kicking Topps ass in court, simply because the U.S. government hates monopolies, and whether you want to admit it or not, it looks like a monopoly if you don't know about the card hobby. If you know business and don't know about sports cards, if there's one company making everything that has an advantage of having all those licenses, and then the other company that lost them and then doesn't have those licenses, or all the other companies that don't, then there's a problem. Um, I think I see in the future, whether that gets settled in or out of court, that a perfect world, Panini would be able to make a certain amount of products a year with the NBA license. That also Topps can make licensed NBA cards or NFL, whatever it may be. I think there's going to be a world where we get back to like the mid 2000s where Topps was making cards. It was Donruss, Playoff, whatever. Pacific early in the early 2000s and late 2000s. I think we're going to get back to that again. I think Topps is still going to have the upper hand, but I really think in a best case scenario for everyone is be both companies making cards. I think that's healthy for the hobby, especially for collectors. Like, why would you not want a Prism rookie card of Cooper Flag and then a Topps Chrome rookie card refractor of Cooper Flag?
Both
Can't
licensed
have
for
that.
yeah.
Yeah, license for both of them. You can have both unlicensed right now, but you can't have them licensed. And I think that would just help the market in general be healthy and stay healthy for a long time, especially with how mainstream everything's been.
And do you think that's a realistic thing with the money hungry culture and I guess
100%.
hobby? Oh, you think it could happen?
I think it has to happen. I like I said, I think the government with the lawsuits that they're suing each other, whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I think the U.S. government or whoever the judges will decide that they're going to have to share them. And I think the problem stems from when I've talked to other shop owners and stuff is that the NBA is the one deciding they want to go with Topps and not Panini. But I think the courts are going to tell the NBA, like, look, you're able to divvy these up. You're able to split it. So you're going to have to do it because that's a business that, again, some people say it's unregulated gambling. And to a certain extent, yeah, definitely. The difference is you're getting something tangible. That's how I look at it. Um, but I do think it's going to end up that way one way or another. When I don't know, but I really do think the government's going to step in, and they don't want that to happen. They want that business to be spread out, and they don't want a monopoly.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes once what is it, Fanatics takes over that license and where that market shifts. Especially someone new. I remember Tops when I was a kid had the license for all the NFL, and then it must have shifted since then. But
Yep.
it'll definitely be interesting. Um, so from my rookie perspective, and there's three categories of people in the hobby. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you have the flipper, you have like the collector, and then you have like the investor slash gambler, the person that likes to do the breaks. And this might kind of go hand in hand what you were talking about with people kind of complaining about the hobby. I feel like some people feel indifferent about either three categories, and maybe not the collector, but the flipper and the person that is in breaks or just breakers in general. That from an outside perspective, not outside perspective, but just kind of from a learning perspective, I feel like people feel indifferently about the current state of breaking and breakers and how their impact has gone about into the hobby. But what are kind of like a piece, because I have more of a newer audience when it comes into the hobby, especially my Bear Down Collects page is different. That's people that are into the hobby. But what
Okay.
are some like pieces of advice you would give someone just kind of getting started into maybe each category, whether it's someone that wants to get into the hobby to flip and make money like I did 7 months ago, or someone that's like, hey, I want to invest in Michael Jordan cards or Kobe Bryant cards, or on the investor side, or someone that is into the gambling and the ripper, like because I got degenerate friends and we were
Yeah.
FaceTiming week one, and I was telling them what I do like for income right now, and I was telling them about what breakers are, and they're like, "Whoa, what is that? Like, can we screen share?" And I screen shared the TikTok live stream, and they guilt trapped me into buying into my first break. I was a little ashamed of it, but there's also that side of it. So, like in
Yeah.
terms of the flipper, let's start there. What would be like some pieces of advice for someone, whether it's a 15-year-old just messing around with $10 to $15 cards, or someone like me that just went full into a few $100 cards? Like, what would be a couple
So
pieces of advice for someone getting started into that?
I would really say I think this applies to everyone except for I would say this applies to children and parents of children who want to get their kids into the hobby, or those kids themselves want to get into the hobby. I think it's definitely beneficial to get into or try out all avenues, like you said, like breaking, buying singles, getting into a mystery pack, getting into a break, buying a card on eBay, going to a card show. Uh, there's so many different avenues and ways that you can get into it. I would say figure out what you like. Like if you're just getting into cards, you'll figure out what cards you like. But if you're going into cards, odds are you're already one, a sports fan, two, have a favorite player, favorite team, something. So you should go in with knowing what you kind of like, sports wise, team wise, player wise, and see what you like. Try different things. Get into it. Open a box. Open a pack. Get into a break. Like I said, there's so many different ways you can get into it. And I would say don't be picky. Do a little bit of everything. See what you like the most, and then just kind of stick with that. And then you can always try other things, but I think that's the most. I think that's the best way to go about it.
What would you say the most common or the biggest mistakes you've seen people make when they've tried to get into maybe trying to resell or flip cards, or getting to starting a card business, quote unquote?
I mean, I think one of the toughest things you could do is get in really high. What did happen? All right, we're back. Am I still here?
No, you're here.
Got a phone call.
Nothing
My
moved
bad.
on. All right, no, you're good.
I just got a call and it shut me down. What the hell?
Can you hear us? Can you
Um,
see us?
yeah, no, I
Okay,
see you.
cool, cool.
I would say you really don't buy in high. Yep. There's already an open case. No, I'm just letting you know we got it today. Yeah, I know. There, I would say people get in too high on players that are hot. Um, I think that's kind of the problem is people are like, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is going crazy right now. He just won the Super Bowl. That's usually the worst time to buy a card is when a player is really hot and you get stuck with it next, like JJ McCarthy. You're going off week one, coming back on the Bears. Week two, sucks, gets hurt, going to be out 3-4 weeks, who knows how long. And then you're like, fuck, man, like his cards just tanked. Caleb's cards have tanked too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way. I have JJ. I think Penix has looked the best out of all three so far, which is insane to me. But all those quarterbacks going to the season, you're like, all right, these guys can go out and be great, or they can go out and suck, and that's what happened to a lot of them. It's been pretty rough, and I lost a lot, not a lot, but a decent amount on some of those guys. So it's been kind of tough. But don't buy at the peak. I would say that's where people get burned the most. You know, you can still do that and make money, but I think that's the riskiest thing to do.
No,
That's what I see a lot of people get into it and do.
that's a really good point. Luckily, I've had a buddy who's kind of coached me through getting through this when I first started, like in terms of when to buy in certain sports for certain seasons and not to buy into the peak, which is a really good piece of advice, actually. What are top three players you are investing or maybe buying heavy right now, and maybe who's undervalued?
Um, I would say so. Football wise, going into the season, Jordan Love was my buy, even as a Lions fan, just because I knew where his market was at. When the Packers were good the first half of last year. And to be clear, I do think the Packers are going to do the same thing as last year. I think they're going to be a really good team to start first half, and they're going to start to fall apart come the middle half of the season. Um, he was one of my guys, and who else did I like? CD Lamb, I thought was good because he's going to have a healthy Dak. His stuff was really cheap. Shamar Chase. Um,
Well, now Chase stock might go down a little bit with the Burrow injury.
he's still going to get fed the ball, bro. I don't think it matters for him. He's one of those guys. Like, even CD Lamb had a career year almost last year with Cooper Rush.
Um, this is more of a question. This is a good question for everyone who is curious about the National, right, or Fanatics Fest, but we'll kind of tailor it to something more towards me in a way. But what are some tips for someone that has maybe exhausted their kind of resources or outgrown their self at smaller local shows like myself, and is looking to branch out at regional, bigger shows? Maybe it's not just the national, but maybe it's the Philly show, for example, that you're going to.
Yeah,
Like my biggest worry is, will I be able to buy at my percentage going into those bigger shows? Not as a vendor, but on the other side. I mean, I could always try to vend, but depending on
yeah,
availability. But my biggest concern for me personally is like, all right, I need to branch out to regional shows or bigger shows because I've outgrown the local shows. They're every Saturday, and those kind of mom and pop style vendors only have so much inventory they're getting, especially
yeah.
when they're only doing it for fun. But my biggest concern is, all right, can I buy at 85% or so at those biggest shows to be able to flip it on the back end, to make that trip worthwhile? If I got to fly somewhere or whatever the case is, maybe it's possible at a show like Philly, but not the national. So I'm just trying to, like, what is some pieces of advice for someone like myself who's kind of growing, but maybe not fully there yet, who wants to kind of branch out into more bigger regional shows, if that makes sense.
Well, first, I assume you've had other businesses, so I assume you have an LLC, right?
Yeah, yeah. Worst case scenario is tax write offs if I have to travel,
Exactly.
right?
So there you go. That's number one. Um, Definitely worth it to travel to these shows and fuck around and find out. I did that when I first started opening the shop because I need to get inventory, and then obviously over the years you kind of grow into it and make a lot of good connections that will help keep you supplied. Um, yeah, man, I feel like you really just got to go out there and do it. I don't think it's too hard to buy at that percentage, and I think some people go about it the wrong way and just how they approach dealers and people. I think you got to start small when negotiating and get a feel for who you're dealing with. Like if they have a card that's priced fair, just fucking buy it to get that deal and that conversation going. If they see you're a serious buyer, take a card at full price. Granted, it's something you can make some money on, but then they have other cards where you're like, oh, maybe could you work on this if I get a few things? That's exactly what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to go after it and go about it the right way with these people and dealers. I think that's really all there is to it. Just it applies to anything in business. Just being a good person, a nice person, an honest person, and direct goes a long way, and that's helped me a ton over the years.
Well, yeah, it's definitely on my one of my goals or to do list to branch out, even if I'm just walking around building relationships the first time or so to those bigger shows. But it's something that's on my radar for this upcoming year. And for do you have any tips for someone wanting just to go to the National or Fanatics Fest in general? Maybe not, to flip, but I know it's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of moving parts, and there's a bunch of trade nights and all that stuff. You have any certain tips or advice for someone that might be eyeing to go there in the near future?
I mean, I would say too, because we talked about like the write-off thing. I would plan it as also like part vacation, part trip, or whatever. When I first started going to the Dallas show, which I'm sure you've heard of, I used to go and I'd bring some of my friends with me, and like I go to the show during the day, I go get dinner, go party at night. Like, make the most of it. It shouldn't just be all business all the time. You gotta have fun, man. You gotta learn how to live your life too, while also doing business. And that was honestly the best part of it, is mixing both worlds in one. Um, as far as advice going into it pertaining just to cards, I mean, you just really just got to do it and go out there and learn for yourself and enjoy it and see how you really feel about it. Because you can get all the advice you want. I might be totally wrong. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm wrong, but it could be a totally different experience for you as opposed for me.
No, 100%. I appreciate that insight. I don't want to hold you too long, but if you got a few more minutes, I'm doing a challenge: rip an optic till I pull it downtown. Want to see if you bring us any luck? If I can rip this with you on stream, and
Go
see if
for it.
so far I pulled the Justin Jefferson Uptown. Doesn't count part of the challenge, but uh, wasn't a bad $200 card. So to end the stream, see if Tyler, the arch rival Lions fan here, can bring us any luck. Oh no. Give me a second here. Now, what's your favorite, I guess, retail product to rip, or even hobby? I haven't touched too much hobby wax to rip myself, but
So, honestly, I don't really rip that much. If I rip, sometimes I rip some of the higher end stuff just to rip it or get my high. But I like ripping older wax stuff that I grew up with, like 2005, 2006 to like 2010 kind of stuff when I was a kid. Um, that's what I prefer. But retail wise, like I think I did rip a little Prism or Optic when it came out, just to try my luck and pull some of the color QB cards because I knew that's when you're going to make the most money when they come out.
yeah. Now, did you get your hands on any of the new Dunrust or seen any of the new downtowns that have come out? I know it's pre-release. I don't pay attention to the schedule release, but I saw some videos online.
Yeah, they messed up the Calvin Johnson one.
Yeah, I saw that. That was like brand. What was that? Tight end, right?
Yeah, Brandon Pettigrew.
I didn't know if that was fake or whatever, but I did see that.
That's legit.
Can you see everything here?
Yeah,
Okay,
good
cool.
setup.
Cool. It's improv. I need to improve it, but all right, we got an optic blaster, ripping optic. Probably pull it downtown. I was itching for this. Get my mind off the terrible Bears.
It happens.
What's the? You said you don't rip too much, but is there anything recent that you've ripped that was pretty hot, or?
I mean, we rip a ton, obviously, like at the shop. Not just me, but um, what have we pulled? We opened some Marvel stuff today. Marvin Golden Anniversary just came out. That was cool.
Ooh. Oh damn! I thought.
Pulled Panini One came out last week. Pulled a nice Mahomes auto. Pulled a Luis Pena Brewers top prospect, an auto. Tyler Newman. Not
Is that
bad.
considered my case hit? Montez sweat out of here. Paid. And then you got some upcoming shows, right? I saw you're going to Philly because that's local to you. But any other shows you guys have that you guys will be vending at?
Chantilly, Card Show in Virginia
Okay.
in October. Maybe a couple local ones in between that, but honestly, not that much. Just focusing on the shop for the most part.
Yeah, from the content that I paid attention to, you don't go quote unquote on tour too much, right? You've done the national, you do Fanatics Fest, and then some
Yeah.
local stuff near you. I'm just getting
I don't. I definitely don't travel as much as I used to.
getting haunted with these crappy bears. Tory Taylor, the puncher that despises the fourth round pick. All right, pack number 3. I don't think I would. That auto is my case hit, no? Or
I don't think so.
okay, cool. Ooh, not too bad.
JJ.
JJ
Yeah.
McCarthy, purple shot.
Autos are pretty much just like an average. They're just like an added bonus.
Oh. I only rip so much because it costs me money, right? With this being my full time income, I have to stay disciplined and diligent, especially if I'm balancing out a bankroll for sports betting. You betting anything?
I don't bet at all. I don't do fantasy. I don't see the point. Like I like my teams. That's all I care about.
Okay, okay. My degenerate ass will bet on anything.
I do not. I only bet when people piss me off and talk shit about like their team going up against mine, and I'll just bet to shut them up. I'm like, all right, you really think the Bears are gonna win? Let's go 500. Let's go.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I knew better. I knew better than that. Yeah, one of my goals during the off season is I gotta definitely visit you guys in Jersey. What I want to do is kind of go on tour to different card shops and get a bunch of content off of it and show. So, especially with you only being a few hours away, maybe even starting at regional, I definitely want to swing by your shop and make some content and show you guys some love over there for sure. Tracy, shot, last one. I don't know, Tyler. Last pack magic. I don't know if this challenge is gonna end here today. But I'll take the JJ. Light it up. Very. Wasn't too bad of a pull. They weren't bad pulls.
I mean, he did solid. Definitely some good names there.
Yeah, definitely. Just wasn't our downtown, but I guess we'll continue that challenge. However, let's see here. Where's my? Well, Tyler, I appreciate your time today, man. I know you're busy. I know you got the shot, but it was plenty of fun talking Bears lines. We might have to do a bet. The Bears are looking better for the next game. All right, we might have to officially lock.
When do we play again? End of the year?
I think it's like December. Yeah, I was looking at my calendar, but we definitely have to do something more proactive. And Bears are looking decent, even if they're like 5-12, but the offense actually looks like they know what they're doing. We might have to lock in a bet there.
Shit, I'm down.
But I appreciate your time today. Appreciate the convo. Appreciate you talking Lions, Bears, the hobby. I'll definitely be posting a lot of content here and tagging you and showing you some love and just kind of going from there. But I appreciate your time for sure.
Definitely, bro. I appreciate it. Go Lions and have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too. I'll see you at one of these shows soon. I'll be branching out. You'll see me.
Definitely. Sounds good, bro.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem, man.
Oh, yeah. See, man. See you. Appreciate you. Yeah, well, I'll tag you and all that stuff. You too, man. I appreciate you. Peace. Let's see here, chat. All right, that was plenty of fun, guys. Talking with Tyler Santiago from Santiago Sports. A lot of good stuff that we got out of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that guest of the week. So what we're gonna do next, chat? We have about an hour ish. Stop. I'm gonna reset the TikTok stream here. Yo, Polar said Andre the Giant was my favorite wrestler growing up. You never wanted to be on his shit list. Andre the Giant is one of the GOATs. He definitely deserves a Mount Rushmore, that's for sure. Okay, let me restart the TikTok stream here. Where do we need to resume our... Oh yeah, we got to talk a little bit more about... All right, chat. Let's get back to our Bears Lions recap, and then we will talk. We got to do our chat versus. We got to do our chat. Oh, we got to do the voicemail hotlines. That'll be fun. So we talked about the offense, chat. Now let's talk about the defense against the Lions. I already wasted all my energy Sunday about this, but where the fuck is Montez Sweat, chat? Where the hell is Montez Sweat on this defensive line? I don't think he's gotten a sack since he first joined the Bears a couple of years ago. He is paid $25 million. I think he's paid one of the top 10 defensive linemen, defensive pass rushers in the league right now, and he can't even touch the quarterback. The one sack he had got called back on him against the Lions. Let me show you guys this stat really quick here. Screen share. This is concerning, chat. This is concerning. Montez Sweat, chat. Montez Sweat has 5.5 sacks over the last 19 games with the Chicago Bears. He earns $25 million this year. Appreciate that like, Ryan. Making him the 11th highest paid rusher in the NFL. 5.5 sacks. For the 11th highest paid pass rusher in the NFL is not acceptable. Another bad Ryan Poles trade, wasting a second round pick for a guy that cannot even pressure the quarterback. I think all those 5.5 sacks came, chat, when he first joined the Chicago Bears. I think because I remember he went off the first few games he joined the Bears. I know last season he had some injuries, but this is complete trash, chat. This is why we wear this trash can costume, is because the Chicago Bears are trash, just like Montez frickin' Sweat. 5.5 sacks in 19 games? 19 games, chat. This is unacceptable. He's garbage. He is garbage. We have no way to brush the quarterback, and it's another Ryan Poles bad trade, bad scouting, bad use of draft capital and resources. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, chat. Put your thoughts in the comments. 5.5 sacks over the last 19 games for Montez Sweat. But he's paid as a top 10, top 11 pass rusher. It's like, we're never going to win like that, chat. We're never going to win. Let's talk about Tyreek Stevenson, chat. Let's talk about Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson is complete garbage, chat. Tyreek Stevenson is complete garbage. Yo, Ryan, I appreciate you. It's just the Bears. It's just the Bears. So done with this team. Yeah, I feel you, Ryan. I feel you, brother. I am right there with you. Yo, chat. Tyreek Stevenson, freaking blown Hail Mary coverage last year. This guy was getting absolutely sliced and diced and cooked against the Lions, chat. Opposing QBs have a 158.3 passer rating when targeting Tyreek Stevenson. That is the highest in the National Football League right now. You know what? Jalen Johnson's hurt. You know who our cornerback one is for the rest of the season? Tyreek Stevenson. We know, I think Terrell Smith got injured in the preseason. I think we had to cut another corner before the last 53-man roster. And the fact that Tyreek Stevenson is our last remaining hope at the cornerback position, we're cooked, chat. We are cooked. Bet every over on the opposing team receivers for the rest of the season. CeeDee Lamb, I'm laying my mortgage on CeeDee Lamb receiving yards this Sunday. Our defense is cooked, and our offense needs to really step at us for us to even have a chance to compete this year. But season's over. But if we even want to be freaking compete, if we want to compete, chat, if we want to compete, Tyreek Stevenson is going to get cooked. Our offense needs to play well to make up for the lack of talent and execution from this defensive side of the ball. 158. This is going to be a long season, chat. It's going to be a long season. They should have traded Tyreek while they could. They should just freaking put somebody else in there that might. They can't get any worse than this, chat. Put in a practice squad player. It can't get any worse than 158.3, can it? I don't think so. Put your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about Tyreek Stevenson being cornerback one for the rest of the season? Chad, that defense was terrible. That defense looked like garbage against the Lions. There was no fight. There was no effort. Players made business decisions, Chad, after that first quarter. Players made business decisions. Kevin Byard was getting smoked. Tyreek Stevenson was getting cooked. I don't know what Dennis Allen was scheming up there. We couldn't get pressure on the quarterback. We couldn't stop the run. It's going to be a long ass season for the Bears and the teams that the Bears are playing. If we can't get our defense fucking straightened out, they're not playing as one cohesive unit. They're playing as individuals. It does not look good for the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, I know there's injuries. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, TJ Edwards, but Tremaine Edmonds looks ass. We can't stop the run. Dio looked okay against the Vikings. Montez Sweat can't rush the quarterback. It's only going to get worse from here. 694 yards in the last 5 quarters. That last quarter against the Vikings and 4 quarters against the Lions, and 73 points, chat. 73 points. And I'm seeing Mark Trestman era. Chat, I am seeing Mark Trestman era. Sean says we need 2018 Vic Fangio back. Yeah, that's a fact, Sean. I loved Vic Fangio's defense. I don't know why we had to get rid of him. I think he became a head coach, right, for the Broncos for a stint. But this is not good, chat. The defense looked like complete ass against the Lions. They weren't playing with much effort, much cohesiveness as one unit. They weren't getting to the ball. They were just waiting for that clock to hit 0 against that Lions. They made business decisions after that first quarter. The offense is going to have to carry the weight of the defense this season if we even want to be somewhat relevant and competitive. But as of right now, this stat is not good, and I don't think it's going to get any better with the injuries that we have and the effort that they've been showing on the field. Ben Johnson, that coaching staff, is just going to have to make some decisions to trade, cut, bench players just for the sake of principle and proving a point. Something to motivate these players because they look like ass. And Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, that offense is coming into town. GG's in the chat. GG's in the chat. Bet the CD overs. Bet the Dak overs. Bet the Cowboys overs because there's nothing that we can do on the defensive side of the ball. We should give Beja a chance. Sean says, honestly, bro, we should give Beja a chance. Caleb doesn't look disciplined. If things keep going in the direction that they're going, chat, Tyson Bagent will be the starting quarterback after the bye week. He will be the starting quarterback after the bye week. Caleb didn't look too bad against the Lions, but that offense wasn't doing anything to keep our defense off the field to get a breather. That offense wasn't putting enough points on the board to keep up with the Lions. That offense couldn't get a 4th and 1, a 3rd and 1. There's only looking like 2 players over there that are giving a fuck on that offensive side of the ball. Rome Odunze and Joe Tooney. That's all I'm really seeing, chat. That's all I'm really seeing. Yeah, DeAndre Swift is running for his life. He's trying to get through for 2 yards of carry, but it's not looking good. And if Caleb keeps performing the way that he is, I believe Tyson Bagent will be the starting quarterback after the bye. Put your thoughts in the comments. Do I want that to happen? Not really, but Caleb is not the Ben Johnson quarterback. There's something going on there between Caleb and Ben. Caleb in this offense. Caleb and the receivers not named Rome. Him going through it, like, Colston Loveland is not getting looks. Cole Kmet is not getting looks. DJ Moore is not getting looks. Like, there is something going on in that offense, and I think it could be Caleb Williams. I don't think he fits the mold of what Ben Johnson is asking for out of his quarterback. I just don't see it. Something is weird and going off with that offense. That's just my opinion. Put your thoughts in the comments. Mr. P says everyone blaming the defense, acting like the offense, and then go 3-0. No, 100% MP. Mr. P edits. 100%. That defense was doing what it needed to do in the first, second-ish quarter, but they got gas quick because their offense just kept going 3-0, 3-0. They lasted a good while versus the Vikings, but that was before a rookie quarterback. They were playing against the Vikings. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. That offense ain't going to wait around for you to try to catch up in that 4th quarter. They put their foot on that gas pedal and they kept going, which gassed our defense sooner than it did against the Vikings. That is a fact. Yes, Caleb wasn't the reason why we lost that game, but he wasn't the reason why we were in a better chance to compete in that game. They weren't getting first downs. They weren't putting points on the board. They weren't keeping our defense off the field to get a breather. That's a fact. That's a fact. The defense played terrible. They sure did play terrible against the Lions, but there's other variables that contribute to that. The effort the defensive players had, but also that offense wasn't keeping them off the field. Multiple 3-and-outs. You're completely right, Mr. P. Edits. The teams haven't won a game yet. Should have changed their name to Owen because they're 0-2 and DJ Emery G. Would you trade Kittle and ETN for Warren? I have Kraft, Taylor, and Cook. I mean, how is ETN doing? I know Bigsby got traded, Alfredo. I mean, Warren's nice. Why would you need Warren if you have Kraft? Kraft is probably hit or miss, though. I would try to get Warren for that. How is ETN doing? And what's your depth outside of Taylor and Cook? Oscar Pendejo, ¿cómo estás, amigo? How are you? Tyson Bagent is the guy Caleb needs to be benched. We shall see. Colin says maybe that's the reason he did so bad against Atlanta. Yeah, well, it didn't help that J.J. McCarthy had a terrible day against the Falcons. It didn't help the Chicago Bears look any better, chat. It did not. I think you have some players on the team that care more about the paycheck than they love. Yeah, Polar, there's some question marks there for sure. They have some question marks there for sure. Who's Tootin? Is Tootin the backup, Sean? Yo, Oscar, I appreciate those gifts on the TikTok. I'm so sorry, Oscar. I appreciate that. DJ Ernie, I appreciate those gifts on the TikTok. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. What else were we talking about before we get into hotline reaction? I haven't paid too much attention to the Jags so far this season, chat. That's like the one team I haven't really been locked in on. I gotta sneeze, chat. Give me a second. I'm under the weather, chat. Jordan flu game over here. Jordan flu game for sure, chat. I'm looking for my notes, chat. I guess I gotta find those again. That's weird. Give me a second here, chat. Dub Bears. Sucky. Leave, man. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream. Yo, Oscar, I appreciate those gifts. If you guys haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit that follow button on whatever platform you're watching on. We're a couple more points about the Bears against the Lions, and then we're going to do our voicemail hotline reactions, and then we're going to do our Chat GPT versus Sam week 3. So let me continue going through my notes here. I can send you. Polar says I can send you gifts if you like. I think I hit 1K subscribers on the Red app, chat, that Polar's watching on right now. So I believe I can start putting some stuff in there. I have to check that. I'm expecting to get Trevor Lawrence to start with Josh Allen. Oh, you do a 2-quarterback league, right? Yo, I appreciate those likes, chat. I got a competition with Polar. Yo, Oscar and Polar. Y'all can show down this Sunday in the chat. Y'all can show down in the Sunday in this chat when we watch the game. Because, Oscar, you usually pull up to the Red app stream, right? All right, chat. Something I want to talk about is coaching. Chat. I don't know what's going on. I believe in Ben Johnson. He addresses the media. The way he talks is a lot better than Matt Eberflus. He's got a lot of genius in here for this not to work, especially offensively. But why are we going for it on 4th and 1 on our own 35-yard line? I think we're only down 1 possession at that point. We couldn't get on 3rd and 1. You think we're going to get on 4th and 1? No. We were doing a QB sneak when we could have done the tush push. I already crashed out on that. That video's on IG going viral. But my biggest concern right now is, are the players quitting on Ben Johnson already in this coaching staff? Like, I saw a lot of lack of effort. I'm not an athlete. I'm not a football player. Not saying anyone quit. They weren't working hard on that field Sunday. But from what I saw, that defensive unit wasn't working as one. They were letting up. They felt like they were getting torched every 2 seconds. That offensive side of the ball, that offensive line, not really doing it. No one's helping Caleb when he's getting his ass knocked down. No one's showing any dog in them. I'm really concerned that the players are quitting on Ben Johnson already. All we heard last year is that the players wanted to be coach harder. It's the same exact group, minus a couple additions who are supposed to be leaders. But all we heard last year was the Bears need to be coach harder. The players want to be coach harder. Shane Waldron was too soft. Matt Eberflus was too soft. Well, they're getting coach harder, but they're not playing harder. That's a fact. That is a fact. And the fact that I see us get 50 burgered in week 2, last time we've seen something like this, chat, I don't want to overreact, but it was the Mark Trestman days. It was the Mark Trestman days. I don't think we ever got 50 burgered with Matt Eberflus. Um, Something is not looking right between Caleb and Ben. Something is not looking right between Caleb and this offense. Something is not looking right on that defensive side of the ball. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes at practice. If the players are not buying into Ben Jensen's hoorah, 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 this, hoorah, that. But what he's saying to the media is essentially people are not practicing hard. People are not practicing hard. Let's watch this video, chat. When it comes to watch party, yeah, Caleb always overthrow instead of getting sacked. You have individuals, not team players. That's a fact, Fuller. That's a fact. Let me show this video. Let's watch this video, chat. Yo, I appreciate that share, Oscar. I appreciate that share. Let's watch this, chat. Here's a quote first by Marquee Sports Network. We're going to find out who wants to practice hard and who wants to be a little bit more involved with the game plan here going into Sunday. We've heard since minicamp, since training camp, no block, no rock. You got to earn your way to get reps on this team on the offensive side of the ball specifically. But from what we've seen against that Lions game and the kind of, I don't know how to word it, chat, like the inconsistency with this both sides of the ball, I'm a little worried that, especially after that Lions game, that these players are not buying into what Ben Johnson is selling. Let's see what he has to say. Chat, was that audio not working, chat? You're not a rip leader, Polar? Did you guys not hear that? Oh, let me replay this for you, chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I kind of knew that first game.
All right, chat. Let's rewatch this. I got it. Now it should work. I appreciate that follow, CityBoy074. Let me just redo that.
Yeah, I kind of knew that first game that the tight end position wasn't going to be featured as much. I was hopeful that this game we would bounce back a little bit more, both with Cole and Colston. I think Luther's slowly gaining the trust as we go here. We're trying to get him more packages as we're going. The way that we've talked about it as a coaching staff going into this week is we're going to have a lot more competition. I've alluded to it before. Just what these guys look like when the ball's not in their hands, that's a big deal for us. And so there were some plays there yesterday that we weren't quite as pleased with what that looked like on tape. And so we're going to find out this week at practice who wants to practice hard and who wants to be a little bit more involved with the game plan here going into Sunday. Yeah, I kind of knew that first game that the tight end.
Chat, that's a little bit of a red flag for me. That's a little bit of a red flag for me. He's saying some of the reasons why we're not seeing some players maybe get the rock, specifically Luther Burden or Colson Loveland, or just players in general, is they're not practicing hard enough. They're not earning their keep, especially as rookies. But I don't know if that applies to other players on the team, specifically the defensive side of the ball. Like, I'm a little concerned that these players are not buying what Ben Johnson is selling, and it's Ben Johnson and his coaching staff's job to kind of vet out those quote unquote cancers in the locker room. They're not putting 150% on the field. We saw that against the Lions. Players made business decisions. Veterans that are supposed to lead this team made business decisions. Kevin Byard looked like he eased up a few times when it came to tackling somebody. DJ Moore, I don't know if he was hurt from the Vikings game still, but that body language issue is another topic of conversation, even going into this season. Essentially, what Ben Johnson is saying here, he wants to see more players put an effort throughout practice when they don't even have the ball coming their way during the game, and seeing what they're doing. Are they still finishing through plays? Are they still hustling and giving 110% on the practice field and during the game when they're not seeing the ball? Are they doing things that they should be doing when other people aren't looking? Maybe that explains why Colson Loveland and Luther Burden aren't getting the rock, because they're not putting in the work. They're not putting in the work. Maybe that explains why some of the defensive players are making business decisions. Maybe they're not buying what Ben Johnson is selling, but that's a big concern going into week 2. I was not expecting to get 50 burgered by the Detroit Lions in that type of fashion. But put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Are you concerned about the players maybe quitting on Ben Johnson? I don't want to use that Q word. I know a lot of football players don't like it, but I'm just saying, I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. It doesn't look like there's a lot of effort, especially on that defensive side of the ball, against the Lions. We extended Cole Kmet for no reason. They don't even use him. It's crazy, right, Brady? Yeah. DJ Moore cooked. There is no rush from the defense. That's an absolute fact, Rudy. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Why I want Brian Flores wanted to. Should I do Drake London and Hampton for Derek and Marvin Harrison? I would try to get Derrick Henry. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would do that trade. Just going through the motions, Polar says. So, yeah, that's the coaching staff. I'm a little concerned about that, but we'll see what happens against the Cowboys. Yeah, what happened to this 2 tight end set? I have no idea, Benjamin. I have no idea. The offense is still learning. I guess we're still going through the kinks of the offense. But, Chad, don't forget that like button. Don't forget that follow button. We're going to do our voicemail hotline reactions here shortly. But first, let's talk about Ryan Poles, chat. Let's talk about Ryan Poles. The thing that grinds my gear the most is Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears organization. How the hell did we give Ryan Poles a contract extension, chat? When we gave him a contract extension, I made a video about it, how he didn't earn and deserve that. And all the Ryan Poles fanboys in the comments were angry. I guarantee this Ryan Poles fan club is worse than the Justin Fields cult. That's a fact. That is a fact. Ryan Poles has got to be one of the worst GMs in the NFL. 3 of your top draft picks from this past draft weren't even dressed or even had an impact on the game against the Lions. Colson Loveland, what did he do? Ozzie Trapillo, that right tackle you used a second-round pick for, didn't even dress. Luther Burden is a kick return specialist. You could have got that in the 6th round. I know it's week 2. They're rookies. Complicated Ben Johnson offense. I'm not going to fully kind of overreact on those 2 specifically, but the rest of your draft class from previous years is complete ass. Let's take a look at it, chat. Ryan Poles needs to go, Benjamin says. Yeah, Swift or Jalen Warren. I don't know. I haven't looked at any Jalen Warren stuff. I'm a bias with Swift, but says same Bears just need to get Chris Greer from the Dolphins as a GM. The Dolphins haven't done much either, brother. Chat. Chat. Ryan Poles on January 31st, 2022 at his presser conference. We're going to take the North and never give it back.
Last thing, the most important piece is we're going to take the North and never give it back. Last thing, the most important piece is we're going to take the North and never give it back.
When is that happening, Ryan Poles? When is that happening? You're in what, year 3 or 4 of a rebuild? And we are worse off from before you took over. You have done nothing good for this franchise since you've been the GM of the Chicago Bears. We're going to take the North and never give it back. Are we even near the North? I feel like we're south because we haven't even came close to taking the North. Let's see your record here in the division. Since that, 3-14 in the NFC North, 7-10 last in the NFC North, 5-12 last in the NFC North, 0-2 last in the NFC North. Those are all your records to date. 15-38 as a GM overall. And all you Ryan Poles fanboys, you guys are worse than the Justin Fields call. I swear to God. Because when I made a video saying that he didn't deserve his extension, all you guys are like, you can't hit on every pick. Why are you such a hater? You don't need to hit on every pick. I know that. I know those expectations. But he doesn't hit on any pick. There's not one pick. Give me 2 players that are you so confident in a Ryan Poles draft pick. Rome Odunze, when he probably should have went Jared Verse in that draft class. Don't even tell me Caleb. Darnell Wright is not looking too hot. There's not more than 2 players that Ryan Poles has drafted that you should feel confident about. He's had multiple top 10, top 15 draft picks, multiple salary cap galore, using second-round picks to send for Montez Sweat, Chase Claypool, signing Nate Davis, refusing to trade Velus Jones because you didn't want to take anything less than a third, drafting Velus Jones, Zach Pickens. Can I continue to go on? Drafting a punter in the 4th round. Could have had Bucky Irvin. We still don't have good running backs. Ryan Poles is a complete joke of a GM. He's got to be one of the worst GMs in the NFL. And I would rather have Ryan Pace than Ryan Poles. And that is a fact. Mark Emery 2.0. Yo, I appreciate that follow. Go, Pat, go. Darnell Wright is a liability in passing. Yeah, that's also true. We could have had Jalen Carter. Chat. Ryan Poles has drafted 34 players. 34 players. 26 have played 1 or more seasons. None have made the Pro Bowl. You know how easy it is to make the Pro Bowl these days? You just have to be decent, and when the actual good players vote out of not wanting to play in the Pro Bowl, you're an alternate and you become a Pro Bowl player. It's not that hard. He is 3-17 against the division, 15-38 overall. The worst GM I have ever seen. Ryan Pace was 10 times better. Ryan Pace had his flaws, but nothing like Ryan Poles. The one good thing that Ryan Poles is good at is staying ahead of the salary cap space. And I swear this guy robbed the Chicago Bears more than Montez Sweat does. This guy did a complete trickery doodah on George McCaskey in that Chicago Bears front office when he got an extension. Because he's probably going in there pitching, oh, you're going to save so much cap space, this and that, if you extend me. He doesn't deserve an extension, Chat. He hasn't done anything to deserve an extension. The one thing he's good at is cap space management. I'll give him that. Got in front of the DJ Moore contract extension before wide receiver market went up. The thought process around Montez Sweat was good, but Montez Sweat isn't good. But getting a top 10 defensive end before that market continued to skyrocket, that was good. That's the only good thing he is good at, but an accountant can do that for us. He does not know how to scout. He doesn't know how to draft. He doesn't know how to trade. All his trades, all his draft picks are complete ass. There's only one good player I could really think of, maybe 2 that Ryan Poles drafted well. And as Rome Odunze probably should have got Jared Verse. in that draft class. And we don't know what Caleb's all about. And I can't really. Darnell Wright, not a good pick. He's probably going to get replaced by Ozzie Trapillo. And I'm not even referring to the draft class that we just had. They still need time, and I believe those were more Ben Johnson draft picks anyways. But put your thoughts in the comments, chat. How do you feel about Ryan Poles? Did he really say that, Buller? I need like a producer chat. Yo, chat, you remember? Chat, you remember when we drafted Tory Taylor? Do you remember when we drafted Tory Taylor? First of all, Ryan Poles used a 4th round draft pick on a punter when we had need at pass rusher, running back, and offensive line, and even other spots at the defensive line. But he wanted to get use a 4th round pick on a punter when you can pick these guys undrafted up or pick up a veteran. They all do the same shit. Tory Taylor has not done anything to impress us to support that he should be a 4th round draft pick. You know who's picked about 3 picks after Tory Taylor? Bucky Irvin. Another huge mistake by Ryan Poles. And then Caleb goes and saying, oh, you're not going to punt much here. When Tory Taylor got drafted, Tory Taylor has punted 92 times since that text message on draft night. The most in the NFL. It's only the Chicago Bears. You can't make this shit up, chat. It's only the Chicago Bears and the circus of a franchise that they are where you see stats like this. Caleb over here trying to, hype up the new draft pick punter in the 4th round. You're not going to be punting much here. Caleb Williams can't even pick up a 3rd and 4th and 1 last week against the Lions. He had a punt there. Oh, that's right. You're not going to be punting much, Tory Taylor, because we can't convert on 4th and 1. That's probably why you're not going to need to punt more, because we're just going to freaking fail to convert on 4th down. 92 times since that text. That's the most in the NFL. Only the Chicago Bears. You can't make this shit up, chat. Another terrible draft pick by Ryan Poles. A 4th round pick on a punter, chat. Someone explain it to me. I can't take this anymore. I really can't. Did I pick up Jordan Love or Danny Dimes off the waiver? Maybe Jordan Love, brother. How is Jordan Love on your waiver wire still? Like, chat, Ryan Pace wasn't perfect, but at least he had hits in the 4th, 5th, 3rd rounds. Yes, he traded for Khalil Mack. He used a lot of draft capital, and he traded up for Trubisky. But who would have known about Patrick Mahomes? I wanted Deshaun Watson at that time. We didn't really know about Patrick Mahomes. But all these draft picks that Ryan Poles is wasting, with 4th rounders being sent for Jonah Jackson and punters and freaking Chase Claypool, there's still players of value in the draft in the 4th round. Look what Ryan Pace did. Eddie Jackson, you got in the 4th round. He was a huge contributor, especially in that Vic Fangio defense in 2018. Tariq Cohen, before he got hurt, he was a key contributor. Darnell Mooney, pretty solid receiver, doing well with the Falcons right now. Didn't do too well with Fields, but he was a pretty good contributor. Adrian Amos, pretty good at solid safety. Jordan Howard, he was a good running back. There's still players of value in the rounds 4. Even just these picks right here. Ryan Pace didn't have too many 1st round picks. We had Trubisky that we used and then Fields. But even with 4th and 5th round picks, Ryan Pace has picked better players than Ryan Poles has in his whole career with top 10 picks. I swear to God, I don't think Darnell Wright's going to be that good. Rome Odunze looks like he's going to be pretty good. Caleb Williams, I got no faith in him anymore. wasted second-round picks, Jervon Dexter, Velus Jones, all these scrub players, Torrey Taylor. You can get players of value in the 4th and 5th rounds. You don't just throw them away for Ryan Bates and Jonah Jackson. You draft them yourself and you develop them themselves, but you need to know how to scout. And Ryan Poles and his team does not know how to scout. Ryan Pace, just these 4th and 5th round draft picks are probably better than any draft picks that Ryan Poles has ever had drafted himself in top 10 picks, top 1 picks, let alone the freaking middle round picks that Ryan Poles has had. It pisses me off. Ryan Pace is a better GM, was a better GM than Ryan Poles, and that's a fact. I don't care what you guys say. Ryan Poles is ass. Terrible GM. Get him out of here. Would you rather Chiefs or Bolts for AFC champs this year? I want to see who do I think is going to make it there, or who do I want to see? Chiefs are always entertaining, but the Chargers looking good. Chargers looking good. AJ Brown or Ladd, like in fantasy, Ladd 100%. RIP K Mac, yeah, remember Khalil Mack? Start Smitty, Walker, Ridley. How many of those do you need? Yo, Matt, I appreciate that follow, Matt. I appreciate that follow on the TikTok. Please answer. What did you say? Oh. How many of the players do you need? Kenneth Walker, I think you should start. I wouldn't put Ridley in. I don't know who they're playing. Dexter, a wasted pick. Yeah, just do. Dexter's trash. Trade James Conner and Rome for Bucky and Jameson. That might be a good trade, Andre. But Rome's going to be putting up numbers, so I don't know. Adrian Amos was a good safety. I can't explain it either. It's a head scratcher, Polar says. Yeah. Chat, let me get into... Let's do voicemail hotline reactions, chat. Let's do our voicemail hotline reactions, and then Chat GPT versus Sam, and that will be it for the day. That will be it for the day. So let's react to our voicemail hotline. I'll make sure you guys can hear that better, though, for sure. Picking teams this week. Who you got for teams winning? Like, you just got to pick one in the survivor pool. I'm doing that next, actually, FCR. If you want to stay for a little, like 15 more minutes, we're doing week 3 predictions, me versus ChatGPT, and you'll kind of see all my picks for the whole week and kind of use your discretion on what you like and agree with too. So let's do. Chat, we are going to react. Oh, wait, let me cut this off. All right, chat, we're about to react to our Bear Down and Beyond hotline voicemails from week 2. Bears got belt to ass by the Lions, so hopefully we got some good messages in here. Let me kind of just brief this. All right, we got one. We got a few, chat. We need to step it up, chat. It is not, I already clipped this in a post, but this is not a live line for you to chat with me. It's for you to use a voicemail, to leave a voicemail for me to blind react to. I got so many DMs on IG saying, oh, the phone number's not working. It's like, no, it's intentionally a voicemail. So let's listen to this one.
So I'm a little younger, but this is what I think is going to happen for a little bit of our schedule. I think that we will lose against Detroit next week because it's a revenge game. But I think that we'll win weeks 3 to 7. I think we'll lose Baltimore. And then win weeks 9 through 12. I just think Ben's going to turn this offense around, hopefully. And then from there on out, I don't really know the rest. But that's what that's my prediction. But yeah.
All right, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the voicemail. Spreading some positivity, some optimism to Bear Down and Beyond community, because we really need that. We've been very down and pessimistic. This obviously was called before Detroit. He called it. We're going to lose to Detroit, but he thinks we're going to win through week 3 to 7. There's some hard games on that schedule, chat. I don't have them in front of me. I don't have them in front of me, but those are some hard games. But he's spreading some. We need some positivity. We need some positivity, and then 9 through 12, he thinks we're gonna win. So I don't know. I don't have that schedule in front of us, but I appreciate that call. Nothing crazy. Appreciate your call. Hopefully, we can win those games. I hope you're right, my friend. Chat, not this one.
So I'm taking a shit right now, and that goes to show how angry I am. I'm going to put this voicemail while I'm taking a fucking shit. My shit smells just as bad as the Bears fucking franchise. I fucking hate this team. This is the worst fucking organization ever. There's no fucking hope. Zero.
Shit, trash. That is what the Chicago Bears are right now, and he's not wrong. There is no hope for this franchise. They are shit. They play like shit. They smell like shit. He was right on. I can't complain about that. That was a good call. He was dropping the kids off at the pool and made an emergency call. I fucking love that. Appreciate the phone call. Yo, Shy Collector says, yeah, I'm done watching this BS. Yeah, bro. I'll continue to watch, but I don't have much energy left in the tank for them. Chuba and Mike Evans for Brees Hall and McBride in need of a tight end. If you need a tight end, then sure, you're getting a running back, especially with Fields maybe being out. They might run the ball more. Brees Hall will get his touches, and McBride's not a bad tight end to have. So who's your wide receiver that you could replace for Evans? Here's another one, chat.
Caleb, when are you going to stop overthrowing fucking passes? When are you going to fucking man up, take the team by storm, and start winning fucking ball games, man? 18 games now, and you still haven't shown anything. Come on, man. Get it together.
He's not wrong, chat. He's not wrong. I believe this was after the Vikings game. I didn't see this in last week's reaction, but it was a good voicemail to react to. The biggest thing what he said that we've been talking about is when are you going to take the team by storm? Like, that's what we need from a QB. Like, he's not leading. He's not hyping up this offensive line. He's not hyping up this team. He's not on the sideline going hoorah, hoorah, like J.J. McCarthy was against us in week 1 or that Baker Mayfield was doing last night on Monday Night Football. He needs to be more accurate. He needs to take the team and lead them, but he's not doing that. He's not doing it. I'm over Caleb Williams. I'm sorry. I'm over it. Like, there's something going on between him and Ben, him and this offense, and I'm not buying what he's trying to sell, if he's even trying to sell anything. So, yeah, I definitely agree with this caller. Good call. I appreciate y'all. Sorry I missed this last week. I can't use that one. He called Caleb something I can't share on stream. I think we listened to this one last week.
The Bears fucking suck. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, I try to be optimistic, and I watch everybody on the team give up after the second half, or after the second quarter. Bro has a wimpy leg. I don't know why he's still on the team anymore. He should have gotten banished from Chicago last year, but that's beside the point. Caleb forgot how to complete passes to save his life. O-line doesn't want to block. DeAndre Swift, I don't know what happened to him because he ran through someone's face in the first quarter and then didn't do that ever again. Fucking, I don't even know, man. Like, defense doesn't want to stop anything. Tyreek Stevenson likes to jog around. I don't know why he's still on the team either, especially after last year. Like, it's just ridiculous, dude. I don't know.
Chat, this is crazy. That was a voicemail from last week after the Vikings lost, but everything he just said applied perfectly to what happened in Detroit. Like, things are not changing. Things are not improving for the Bears from week 1 to week 2. I don't know if we listened to that one last week or if I completely missed it, but he's not wrong, and it's kind of concerning that everything he mentioned are still concerns after the Lions game, if not even bigger concerns. I appreciate the call. Yeah, we're all down in the dumps, Bears Nation. We're all down in the dumps. Hopefully it gets better, but I'm not expecting anything to get better anytime soon. These are some from the Vikings game. So yeah, that was our Bear Down and Beyond hotline. If you want to call and vent, cheer, cry, or talk shit about the Bears, call 877-708-2327. Leave a voicemail. I'm not here to live chat and be your therapist, and we will blind react to them during our streams. I appreciate everyone leaving a voicemail this week. That was plenty of fun per usual. All right, chat. The last thing we're gonna do is our Chat GPT Sam versus Chat GPT. Week 3 predictions. I have week 2 up here. I already have it all set up compared to last week, so we're really making good progress here, chat. All right, chat. Make this better for my editor too. Actually, I'm pretty happy I decided to do this. Chase, Javante, and Marvin Harrison Jr. for Jettis and James Cook. I would do that, maybe. I don't know. Javante's not looking bad. That's not a bad trade either way, bro. Chat, let's write down. So, chat, these were my predictions from last week. We're going to do our Chat GPT versus Sam week 3 predictions. Let's take a look into week 2 and see who was in the lead after week 2. So, we're both 9-7 after week 1. We were both 9-7. So, I got the Commanders lost, right? I picked the Commanders. The Bengals won, right? I got the Bengals right. I got the Cowboys right. I got the Bears wrong. I got the Rams right. I got the Patriots right. I got the 49ers right. I got the Bills right. I got the Steelers wrong. I got the Ravens right. I got the Broncos wrong. I got the Cardinals right. I got the Chiefs wrong. I got the Falcons right. I got the Bucks right. And I got the Chargers right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went 11-5, chat. I went 11-5. Better than the week 1. Week 1, I went 9-7. So let me find another one to write down here. Chat GPT. And this is Chat GPT's week 2 predictions. Better aesthetics here, chat. I'm trying to help. So, when lost, he had the Packers right. Chat GPT got that right. Got the Bengals right. The Cowboys right. The Lions right. The Titans wrong. The Patriots right. The 49ers right. The Bills right. The Steelers wrong. And the Colts right. Oh my God. The Cardinals right. The Chiefs wrong, the Vikings wrong, the Texans wrong, and the Chargers right. So ChatGPT went 12-4. I went 11-5 in week 2. ChatGPT has a lead by 1. ChatGPT has a lead by 1. Now let's do our week 3 predictions. Sam versus ChatGPT. You had 14 wins last week. All right, Polar. There you go. There you go. So I'm going to do my predictions here, chat. Here's my week 3 predictions, chat. I'm going to do Buffalo for sure. I'm going to do Green Bay, unfortunately. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yo, my mic just went out, chat. My mic went out. I'm gonna take the Colts here. That might be a trap game. I'm gonna take the Vikings with Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning. I'm gonna take the Vikings here, unfortunately. Steelers versus Patriots. Gonna take the Steelers. Rams versus Eagles. I think the Rams get their lick back against the Eagles there. Jets versus Buccaneers. Gonna go Buccaneers. Raiders versus Commanders. Gonna go Commanders, but Jaden Daniels is hurt, so I really don't know about that yet. Falcons versus Panthers. Are the Panthers really gonna go 0-3? I have money on them this year. We're gonna go Falcons. They looked good. Texans versus Jaguars. Going Jaguars. Sunday late. Broncos versus Chargers. The Chargers look so good, chat. The Chargers look really good. Saints versus Seahawks. Cowboys versus Bears. Gotta take the Bears. Cardinals versus 49ers. We're gonna take the Cardinals there. Sunday night, we got the Chiefs beating the Giants. Monday Night Football, we got the Ravens spanking the Lions. So now let's do Chat GPT's predictions for week 3 here. Let me find the prompt here. All right, I'm prompting it, chat, and then I'm going to select it on this screen share. I traded Marv, Pickens, and Jennings for Lamb. I got Amon-Ra and Lamb now. That's a good trade there. Why the hell would someone trade away CeeDee Lamb? All right. Chat GPT picked the Bills to beat the Dolphins. And then they picked the Panthers, okay, to beat the Falcons. Chat GPT picked the Packers. 1, 2, 3. Chat GPT picked the Packers to beat the Browns. I need a new mic, chat. They picked the Jaguars to beat the Texans. ChatGPT picked the Vikings to beat the Bengals. Beat the Patriots to beat the Steelers. Okay. ChatGPT picked the Eagles to beat the Rams. And picked the Chiefs to beat the Giants. Picked the Colts to beat the Titans also. Picked the Commanders to beat the Raiders. ChatGPT picked the Bucks also to beat the Jets. Picked the Seahawks to beat the Saints. Picked the 49ers to beat the Cardinals. So there's some opportunities for me to try to catch the lead here. The lead. Picked the Cowboys. Damn. Beat the Bears. And the Ravens to beat the Lions. And then we didn't get Chargers. They forgot Broncos versus Chargers. Trade JSN and Brown for Ladd, Bucky, and Golden? Yeah, I would do that. And they picked the Chargers to win. All right, chat. That is Chat GPT's predictions for week 3. Some opportunities for me to try to take the lead. And these are my predictions for week 3. That will close that out, chat. That will close that out. And we're going to end our stream here shortly. I'm getting hot in here. right, chat. I appreciate all the love and support today. I really do appreciate the love and support today. All the gifts, the new community members, Tyler Santiago from Santiago Sports. I appreciate your time being on the stream. I had a lot of fun talking the hobby. We ripped some wax. We still didn't hit our downtown. I appreciate everyone sharing their insight on their fantasy trades and on how they're feeling about the Bears. I hope you guys enjoy the stream. I'll be live for the Bears watch party. I probably have to scale back our Sweat the Bet live streams because I could use those 4 hours to edit or do other tasks. So I don't think we're going to do that. But we will be live for the Bears versus Cowboys. We'll be live around 3:34. Kickoff is at 4:25. So I appreciate all the love and support. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. I'm a little bit under the weather too. I'm getting sick, so hopefully I can recover before then. I love y'all. Bear down. Peace.